Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss the decision making statements in Java. So the next decision statement we are going to study is if else ladder. So if else ladder creates the associated if else statements. So here you can see a group of if else statements. That is if condition, that is if the first condition is not satisfied, the next else if statement is checked and executed automatically and so on. So this process will goes on. If none of the conditions, that is if the conditions we are checked are not satisfied, then else part will be executed. Else statement is executed finally. So here you can see that here we are checking the condition 1. If condition 1 is true, then we will execute statement block in it. That is, if condition 1 is false, then we will move on to the next condition to be checked. So it will be given in else if. So here we are checking multiple conditions. Okay, so instead of else we are giving else if. Else if means there is one more condition to be checked after that. That is, if condition 2 is true, then statement block in it will be executed. If condition 2 is also false, then we will move on to next condition. Here also we are giving else if. Else if is not a single word, there is space between else and if. Here condition 3 is false, then we will execute the statement block in it. If condition 3 is false, then we will move on to the next condition, condition 4. If it is true, then the statements associated will be executed. If condition 4 is also false, then we will move on to the next case, that is the else part. So there is no more condition to be checked. Else, if any of these conditions are false, then we will move on to the else part. Then statement associated to that will be executed. So this is if else ladder. So there are multiple conditions are there. If any one of the conditions is not evaluated, then else part will be executed in that. So here is the flowchart of this if else condition. That is, if condition 1 is true, then statement 1 will be executed. Then we will come to the last part of the program. If condition 1 is false, then we will move on to check the next condition, condition 2. If it is true, then statement 2 will be executed. Then we will come to the last part of the program. If condition 2 is false, then we will move on to check the condition 3. If it is true, then statement 3 will be executed. So after that we will come to the end of the program for the next statement to be executed. If condition 3 is false, then we will move on to the next condition to be checked. If it is true, statement 4 will be executed and we will come to the next statement to be executed. If condition 4 is also false, then we will execute the else part of it. That is, else part will be executed and the statement associated will be executed. Then we will come to the remaining set of statements. So in order to check multiple conditions, we are using this if else ladder. So in this case only one condition will be true. So this is about if else ladder. So it is not must that there are more than 5, more than 6, or it's up to the program, the condition may varies. So there may be 2 conditions are there. If there is more than one condition, if there is more than 2 conditions to be checked, then we can use this if else ladder. If 2 conditions are to be checked, then we can use if else ladder, isn't it? That is the case of even odd number. If we want to execute more than 3 conditions, or if we want to check more than 3 conditions or more than 2 conditions, then we can use this if else ladder. So I hope this is clear for you students. So let's see a program based on it. So here is a program. Write a Java program to print grade of students based on the following criteria. So here is a table given over here. In the first column there is marks and the second column there is grade. So that is the first thing to be checked, that is it is read as if marks greater than or equal to 90, then grade will be A grade. Grade is printed as A. Then second condition, if mark less than 90 and greater than or equal to 70, then grade will be B. If mark less than 70 and greater than or equal to 40, pass. If mark less than 40, then fail. So here we are checking multiple conditions are to be checked. So among these conditions, only one condition will be true. So in order to execute a program like this, we have to use if, else if, else ladder. That is, multiple conditions are to be checked. Among that, only one condition will be true. Okay. So this is a program. So here, what are the things we want to input? Only one thing we want to input, that is the mark. We want to enter the mark. And we want to check a set of conditions based on the mark. Isn't it? That is the only thing we want to do. So here, how we will check the condition? First condition is if mark greater than or equal to. It's clearly given. Greater than or equal to. So that is, we can use if. That is, like that you have to read if mark greater than or equal. That is, all of these things are, that is, what are things given in first column is based on mark. So you can read as if mark greater than or equal to 90. So what type of operator we can use to check that condition? Greater than or equal to. So here we are checking two things, greater than or equal to. So you can use the relational operator greater than or equal to. Okay. So the next condition is less than 90. Already we have calculated for marks greater than or equal to 90. That is, above 90 and equal to 90 we have already checked. If the mark is above 90 or equal to 90, then grade will be A. So the next criteria is if mark less than 90 and greater than or equal to 70. So here also the conditions are checked based on the relational operator. That is, two conditions are used, less than 90 and double AND operator. Logical AND operator we have used, and greater than or equal to 70. Here also we want to use the relation operator greater than or equal to. That is, in the first, that is, two conditions are to be compared by using the logical operator AND. Okay. If the condition is so, then grade is printed as B. Then the next criteria is if mark less than 90 and greater than. So already we have calculated the mark less than 90. That is, less than 90 means up to 89. Isn't it? Less than 90 and greater than or equal to 70. Greater than 70 and equal to 70. Up to that, that is from 70 to 89. If the mark is between 70 to 89, then grade is B grade. Then what is the next criteria? Less than 70 and greater than or equal to 40. Less than 70. Already we calculated for 70. Isn't it? Equal to 70 we have checked here. So here less than 70 means from 69. That is from 40 to 69. If the grade is mark is from 40 to 69, then grade is printed as pass. If mark is less than 40, then we have to print fail as the grade. Okay, so there is no need to give a special variable for grade. We have simply print the values. That is, we can give the message, grade as message. So there is no need to initialize a variable grade over here in this program. Okay. So here you can use scanner class or IO class, that is input stream reader, for inputting the data through the keyboard. So here we can use the scanner class. So whichever option is easier for you, you can opt that. Okay. So in some programs they were specifically asked to input the data by using the scanner class. At that time you have to use the scanner class. So here you can use the scanner class. So since we are using the scanner class, the package to be imported is import java.util.scanner. Here in this line, the only s should be capital, remaining are small letter. After that, put a semicolon. Semicolon means dot followed by a comma. That is known as semicolon. Okay, here you can give the message as package. So message should be given in double backslash and give the message. So you people have to write the message while writing the program. Okay. Then opening of our class student. Name of the class is student. So when you are declaring the class name, don't give space between the words. Space is not allowed while declaring a class name. The only symbols allowed in declaring class name was underscore, $sign, then characters and digits. And also a class should begin with the alphabets and a $sign. Don't start a class name with the digit, but digit can be included in the class name. And also special characters are not allowed while declaring a class name. And also keywords, don't use keywords while declaring a class name. Clear? Okay, then opening of class, then opening of our main method, that is public static void main string of arguments, then opening of main method. Here we have declared our first only one variable, that is mark. It's of data type int mark. This is to store the mark of the student. Mark variable is used to store the mark of the student. Here this mark is a variable, isn't it? This variable is known as instance variable. Why we are calling this mark as instance variable? Because it is a variables declared inside a class. That is known as the instance variable. So whatever variables we declared so far, those variables are the instance variable. These instance variables are also known as data members. Next, we want to declare our scanner class statement, that is scanner sc equal new scanner of system.in. So if you are using scanner class for inputting the data, you should declare this statement, scanner class declaration. Give the command as scanner class declaration. Next, the prompting message. This is a message, first message that appears on the output window or the terminal window. So this is a message for the user, that is you are going enter the mark. If you are not giving this message, then the user won't know what is to be entered. Okay, for that we are giving the message. So system.out.println open bracket, then message should be enclosed in double quotes, enter the mark. Then the next line you have to give, we want to enter the mark, isn't it? So we are going to store the mark in the variable mark. So mark equal to, so since we are using scanner class and also the data type of mark is int, we want to accept the mark by using the scanner class object sc, that is sc dot, and the method is nestInt of, since we are using the integer data type. Here nestInt, there is no space between the nestInt. I should be in capital letter. It's a method. So you can see that there is a open and close parenthesis after the word nestInt. This is a method of the scanner class object sc for accepting the mark. So we have entered our mark through the keyboard. So next thing is we want to check our different types of conditions. So what is the first condition? Here it's given that mark greater than or equal to 90. So here we can give if mark greater than or equal to. So greater than is put by the symbol greater than equal to. This is a relational operator, greater than or equal to. So when we are using this relational operator, what happens is we are checking whether the value on RHS is equal to value on LHS. So suppose just consider a user enter the mark as 95. Then here what is the value of mark now? 95. Based on the value we will check the condition, that is if 95. So we will take the variable inside mark, that is 95. It's all done by the computer. Okay, if mark, we are just writing the codes. If mark greater than or equal to 90, it's read as greater than or equal to. That is two things are checked. If it is greater than or equal to, so any one condition should be satisfied, should be clear or true. Then we can, if any one of the condition is true, greater than or equal to, if it is true, then we can execute the true case of it. So suppose just consider if the mark entered is 95. So computer will check, that is what is the value in mark? 95. 95 greater than or equal to 90. If 95 greater than 90, yes, first condition is true. 95 is not equal to 90, but 95 is greater than 90. So one condition is true. So if the condition is true, then we can print the message system.out.println A. This is a message. So you can give A grade or grade is A. Any message you can give. Clear? So next thing is we want to check the next condition. So one more, there are several conditions after that condition, then you can use else if. So what is the next thing? Less than 90 and greater than or equal to 70. Less than 90 and greater than or equal to 70. So mark, that is two things that we check, that is mark greater than or equal to 70 and mark less than 90. Already we have calculated for 90 here, equal to 90 comes over here. So we want to check for less than 90 and there is a criteria, less than 90 and greater than or equal to 70. Mark greater than or equal to 70 and here we have used the logical AND operator. Okay, to combine two conditions. So the result of logical AND operator is also a Boolean value. It may be either true or false. So when we are using this logical AND operator, clear, any one of the conditions, both, that is if mark greater than or equal to 7, that is two conditions are checked here. Clear? So when we are using this logical AND operator, either this that is condition checked on the left side and the right side of the logical AND operator should be true. Okay, so in that case we can execute the statement corresponding to it. That is, just consider if we suppose a user entering mark as 60 or suppose the user entering the mark as 80. Here the first condition checked is if mark greater than or equal to 70. That is mark is 80, 80 greater than or equal to 70. Is it true? Yes, greater than 70. 80 is greater than 70. That is true. And mark less than 90. That is 80 less than 90. So both conditions are true. If the condition is true, then we will print B grade. Okay, that is the criteria given here. Okay, then we will print system.out.println B grade. Else if, one more condition is there, mark less than 70 and greater than or equal to 40. Already we have calculated up to 70, isn't it? Next we want to calculate from 69. So less than 70 and greater than or equal to 40. That is, else if mark greater than or equal to 40 and mark less than 70. Okay, then we can print the message as, what is the message? Pass. System.out.println pass. Okay, then put a semicolon. Then what is the next thing? Only one more condition. There is no more condition after that. So you can give else. So if any of these conditions are false, then else part will be executed. So there is no need to give the statement, then simply give else. So if any one of these conditions are false, then else part will be true. Then print the message as, what is the message over here? Fail. System.out.println grade is fail, or you can simply give fail. Then close the main method, close the class. So this is the program. So this is the output of this program. Enter the mark. Suppose this consider enter the mark as 85. So what happens? The computer will check the following criteria. So if the grade is mark is 85, then grade will be B grade, isn't it? The message will be print B grade. That is, user entered the grade 85. Then based on 85, the first condition will be checked. If mark greater than or equal to 90, that is 85 greater than or equal to 90. The condition is false. Next we move on to the next condition, that is else if mark greater than or equal to 70 and mark less than 90. Okay, that is 80 greater than or equal to 70. Is it true? Yes. And 85 less than 90. It's also true. So grade will be B grade. So this is the output. So I hope here when we are using this else or if else ladder, what happens? Only one condition, that is we can check multiple condition. From that condition only one condition will be true, and based on the condition the corresponding output will be executed. So this is a data description table of this program. So here in this program we have declared only one variable. So in data description table there are three things are there, that is variable name, data type, and its purpose or use. So after writing that output you should write this table, or you have to write this also. This must. So the only variable we have declared is mark, data type is in. So what is the use of this variable? To store the mark of the student. So this is the program. So students, I hope you get clear idea of this program. So this is if else ladder. Next program is write a Java program to print whether the number enter is 0, positive or negative by using if else ladder. So they have given the question itself, you have to use if else ladder. That is, here we have to check whether the given number is equal to 0, or whether the given number is positive, or we want to check whether the given number is negative. That is, three things are to be checked. Okay, so it's very easy. Just see. So here also we are using scanner class for inputting the data, that is import java.util.scanner. Give the message as package, scanner class package. Then class number, name of the class is number. Then open the class. Then we have declared our main method, public static void main string of arguments. So here students, in this line only s, this strings s should be in, remainings are small letters. Okay, if you are making any mistake over here, the program gets errors. Opening of main method, then we want to declare our scanner class type, scanner sc equal new scanner of system.in. So in this program also only one thing we want to enter. What is the thing? That is the number. We want to check the number. We want to enter the number and we want to check whether it is 0, whether it is positive or negative. So the only one thing we want to enter is number. It's a integer type, int number. You can give any variable. So whatever variable name you are given here, that same name you have to use throughout the program. So num is a variable to store the number. Then a prompting message for the user, system.out.println enter the number. This is a message for the user. Then we want to store the value, that is whatever number we are entering, that is to be stored in the variable num, that is num equal sc dot nested dot. Here this equal to is an assignment operator. So what happens is whatever value we stored in RHS, that will be stored to LHS. So whenever After executing this statement, whenever we take this value, the value in this variable will be whatever value we enter through keyboard. Okay, num equal sc dot nest int of, since we have used the integer data type and we have used the scanner class method. Okay, so next thing is we want to check the conditions. So we have to use the if else ladder. So it is the first thing we want to check whether it is the number is 0. So for that, if condition is if, then give a bracket, num, what is the variable to be checked? Num equal to, double equal to 0. Here there is don't give the equal to operator over here. Equal to is a assignment operator. When we are giving if num equal to 0, what happens is 0 is assigned to num. That is not our purpose. Our purpose is to check whether the number entered is 0. That is, we want to check whether the number entered is 0. So we have to use the equality operator. For that we have used double equal to operator. Here when we are using double equal to operator, it's a type of operator we have already studied that. So whatever, it will check whether the value on LHS equal to value on RHS is equal to LHS. If it is true, then the corresponding statement will be executed. If it is false, we can't execute that statement. The condition is false. Then we will move on to the next condition. That is, if num double equal to 0, then we can print the message system.out.println number entered is 0. It's a message. Okay. So next thing, what we want to check? Whether we want to check whether the number is positive. So how we will check whether a given number is positive? If the number is greater than 1, isn't it? So you people know in integer number criteria, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. So whatever number comes after 0, on right side of 0, it is positive numbers. So whatever comes on the left side of 0, that is negative numbers, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and so on. This is negative numbers, isn't it? So we have already checked whether the number equal to 0 by using this condition, if num equal to 0. If num equal to 0, then we can print system.out.println number is 0. Next condition is we want to check whether it is positive. So here we are using the condition else if, then give a bracket, number greater than or equal to 1. If number is greater than or equal to, two conditions are to be checked, that is greater than 1 or equal to 1. Then we can say it's a positive number. Number relational operator greater than or equal to. For that we are using the relational operator. So we have used the relational operator double equal to. Here we have used greater than or equal to. If this condition is true, then we can print system.out.println number is positive. If that condition is false, that is number greater than or equal to 1. If number is greater than or equal to, if that condition is false, then we can print number is negative. Suppose we are entering a minus number, and based on that condition we will check the condition, that is if number greater than or equal to 1. We check the condition, then the condition will be false, so we will execute the false part. That is else system.out.println number is negative. Then close the main, close the class. So this is the program. So just consider we have entered. You get the output screen, then we have entered the first prompting message, enter the number, and we have entered -2. So it is possible to enter the value -2 in the integer data type. Why? Because integer data type can hold integers, can hold both positive and negative values. We have also studied the range of that numbers. So those students who didn't know the range of these values, go through that test and study all these things. Okay, so the message will be printed. If we have given a number like this, then the message will be printed like this, number is negative. So when a program like this given, compile and run the program 3 times, because we are checking the 3 conditions. If we are getting the correct output based on the condition check, then we can say that particular program is true. So we have checked the condition based on negative value. Again compile and run the program Second time compile and run the program. Again we get the prompting message, enter the number, then give a positive number. Here we have given 1. So then what is the message to be printed? Number is positive. It's also right. One thing also we have, one more thing we want to check, that is enter the number as 0. Enter the number. Again compile and run the program. We get the prompting message, enter the number, give the message 0. Then we will get the message as number is 0. If these 3 conditions are executing in the 3 runs, then we can say that particular program is correct. So simply compiling the program with the only one value is not correct. You have to check all these 3 conditions before showing the correct code or program to your teacher. Okay. So if if five conditions are there to be checked, you have to compile the program 5 times and check the values based on the following 5 conditions. If the 5 conditions are executing correctly, then that particular program is right. Okay. So keep in mind all these things. So this is the output. So this is the 3 outputs on 3 different runs. Not in single run. This is the output in the first run. We are giving this value. The second run also we given a positive value. The third run we given the value as 0, and the program executed correctly. So next thing is data description. So variable name, data type, purpose. Variable name is num, data type is int, to store the number. So this is the program. So students, I hope you get a clear idea of this program. So go through this program and study all these concepts.